My name's Clint, Cary, owner of Tactical Trapping Services. Some of you may have heard of me, or some of you may know me. But what my business does is we go around all of the eastern United States, basically, doing predator campaigns, beaver removal. But trapping is what we do. That's the main objective, or main method of taking out these predators. I had some pictures on the internet a while back of several coons in these Duke DP traps. And I've been writing, or planned on writing, blogs on our website. But with people's time being limited, and I know that writing sometimes is confusing when you're trying to explain something. So I'm hoping with these short little video blogs that I'm going to try to do, at least once a month hopefully, that it'll better explain what I'm trying to do and make it a lot easier to figure out what I'm trying to say anyway. It may not be the case, but that's what I'm hoping to do. And like I say, sometimes they may only be 2 or 3 minutes long, but we can show you more in those 2 or 3 minutes possibly than what I could write on a whole page. So today that's what we're going to be covering in this first video blog, is the Duke DP trap. It's just really an amazing trap. It's changed everything for my business. We used to spend a day setting foothold traps for coons, trying to control nest egg predators on some of these properties. And I don't know how many we would get out, but now that we're using these, we're not near as sore at the end of the day, and we've got 2 to 3 times as many traps out. So they're much more efficient, especially in the energy you exert and the amount of the raccoons, possums that you can remove as well. So to get to the parts of the trap, this is what I would call the dog, and it will engage right here at this little segment. If you can see this little notch in it if you've never used it before. And what this is a trigger on the inside of this trap. This piece that stands on down into the trap, it hangs down. You probably can't see it on video, I know. But when the coon pulls that, it fires this and grabs the raccoon. That's how it catches them. He has to actually pull that trigger. Hence the name of dog proof. The dog can't hardly get his foot in there, and it actually has to be pulled. You can't push this trap, the trigger of it, and fire it. So it's really, really nice around if you're in more rural areas with farm dogs around. It's a much better method than using the footholds where you might catch your neighbor's dogs or your dogs, an example. But to set it, they make setters for this trap. I don't have any to show you. The way that I do them is hold it just like this. Let me get turned where maybe you can see what I'm trying to do. And I'll leave this trigger resting right here on the top. Okay, now then I'll take my hands, squeeze down here. Now I can't hold it there forever, it's a pretty strong trap. But once you squeeze this down, take this one finger and you can hold it. I'm going to hold that down. Once that's holding it down, the dog right here is actually doing all the work for you. Once you get that down here, you'll engage this trigger in the back. And I like for it to be about halfway down. And that's how that you actually set the trap. One other little trick to it, and I'll show you how I did that one more time. But like I'm going to undo it. Like I said, this piece, it stands down in here. And if you see it, you can wiggle this a little bit, this part right here, and you can get it leaning way to one side or to the other. What I like to do is that when I set it, hands like this, pull down, grab a hold of that, and let it do the work for you. Now then, once you get that, I'm going to take, and I'm going to look in there and get that trigger inside, ideally right in the middle of this circle. That's where you want it. And I'm going to engage that. Now then, the trap is set. So, pretty easy to set, very effective. Our loss is right at nearly 0% with this. Once you get it, well, let me go back to baiting it. Because I usually, what I'll do, and this is some of our bait, of course I'm prone to using it, our triple hitter coon bait. What I'll do is just take one of these plastic spoons, reach in here, and before the trap is set, I'll throw some in the trap. And I'll take this spoon, and what I'll do is I'll work it in behind that trigger, so the coon actually has to reach behind the trigger and grab that. He'll have to work for it. Once I have it, that bait in behind the trigger, then I'll set the trap. Okay. Now then, we got the trap set. Now I'll take another spoonful throw in there on top. And that's all the bait that I use on inside the traps. Now to set this trap, what I'll do is I'll start, and this is just a bowl full of dirt to show you an example. I'll take and turn the trap this way with the trigger and everything facing you, or this way, vice versa. I'll shove it in the ground. I like my trap to be at this angle, somewhat of a 45 at least. I'll shove it in the ground, and then I'll turn it. And when you turn it, that basically locks that staking system in the dirt better. What you don't want is that coon to be able to barely pull, and see, this is good enough, actually, in that dirt. Like I said, what you don't want, if you just stick it in there like that and the coon can pull and actually pull the trap out before the trigger fires, then you won't catch him. You want the trap to be somewhat hard to get out of the ground. Not locked in the ground, of course, but you don't want it to just fall over as soon as he touches it. So I shove it in, give it one twist, and that locks it good enough that the trigger will fire as he pulls his hand out. Now the trap's in there. That's how fast that these things are to use. It's just incredible, actually. And these are the staking systems that I use. This is called a Berkshire heavy duty disposable stake is what it's called. And this is already set up. You can attach this with a quick link. And this is what you would call your driver. You need one of these for however many of these that you have. If you've got 100 of these, you still need one. If you've got 200 of these, you still need one of these. That's all what you do. You take this, it would engage like that, and you'll push this in the ground, and you'll pull this out, give this a pull, and it's set, and that trap will be ready to fire right now and hold your coon. What happens when this goes in the ground straight, when you pull on it, this flattens out and makes it really difficult to get out of the ground. That's a Berkshire heavy duty. That's the way that we stake these where we can. So that trap is set, and we can pretend like he's staked off already. That one's ready to go. Now then, some places you won't be able to use them disposable stakes if you're in rocky ground and such. They just won't drive in. You can use a 3/8 rebar with a point ground on it too. Anything to get that in the ground with. It don't have to be made like that. But this is a trap. We probably just purchased it last year. The first year I buy these, I don't do any kind of coating to them at all. I take them out of the box and I use them with excellent results just out of the box. The second year, and once I start getting a little coating of rust on them, this one did, and we coated this one with what's called a Andy Stowe speed dip. We've got it on our website, and this is what we use to coat our traps. You just mix this right here with gasoline, and you just dip them, and that's it. Dip them in your dye, take them out, and I just pile them up over here to the side, and they'll be ready. I leave them out. I do this early in the summer so the gas smell will dissipate and be gone, but it gives a real slick coating on them. It protects them well, and we really like using it just because of the speed. All you have to do is dip it, take it out, set them to the side, and they're done. And over the course of summer, the smell of gas will be gone. Now then, if you can't use the Berkshire stakes as I was talking about, what we like to use is just extension cables. And we attach them. Here's the quick links I was talking about. You just stick that through here. And you get the quick link on this trap. This is the extension cables. They just got a loop crimped on each end. It's an 1/8 inch cable, and that just helps for the cable to last a long time when you get to the 1/8 inch aircraft cable. We'll attach this to our trap on one end. Now then, just to show you the speed you can use these with. And we would set this trap. Okay, he's set. We would have baited it, of course. That's in the ground. We'll take this other end of our extension cable, run it around your tree, like so. This piece of wood being our tree. I take another quick link around that and attach it here. I would use pliers and cinch this on down. Coons are pretty sharp with their hands about stuff. And that trap will be ready to go. So that's the Duke DPs. Very, very efficient, very easy to use. Like I said, they do sell setters for them as well. But we really have enjoyed these traps. They've made our lives a lot easier. They've increased our catch considerably. And the only other thing I can think to bring up really is that no matter where you're at, basically now I believe you will need a name tag on them. So this is the way we do our name tags. We just put them around our quick links. Keep wrapping it around. That's how we put our name tags on there. Now, if I take this quit link off and put it on another trap, I've still got, that trap will have a quick name tag on it. Oops, lost my tree. But if you guys have any questions over it, want me to cover something in more detail, this would just kind of get you familiar with them. Set these heavy would be my advice to you. If I'm around a deer feeder, we're on a job, we'll be setting at least probably 12 at each feeder, at least by the first night. And if we catch, let's say if we caught 8 or 9 coons with 12 traps around that feeder, the second night we would have 15 to 20 traps around that one feeder. Trails coming to the feeder and such as well. So they're reasonably priced, very affordable, very effective, and like I say, you can simply catch more coon because you can get more traps out. They're just that much easier to use. There's no more digging in the dirt, no pounding in all the time, digging out trap beds. They've made it a whole different ball game now. So, any questions about it, give us a call. Our website will be going across the screen probably if I can figure out how to do it. But I appreciate you guys watching, girls. Like I say, if you have any questions, feel free to call me, shoot me an email, however you want to do it. But thank you all.